One of the common trees in Hawaii that's very underutilized outside of the Philippine community especially is Bilimbi. And Bilimbi is a sour relative of starfruit, very sour. It is about 6% acid and it has 86% moisture, so we're going to get a lot of juice out of these. Bilimbi is a souring agent used in the Philippines where it's called either kamias or pias, depending on the dialogue. Here, some of the chefs have used it in vinaigrettes, in hot and sour soups where it's really good. I like to save the juice and use it when I make mango chutney instead of white refined vinegar, which has minimal nutrients, and this is chock full of nutrients. It's also chock full of oxalic acid, and like with starfruit, if you have kidney problems, don't use it, don't eat it, don't eat starfruit. Instead of Bilimbi, you can use green starfruit. You can also pickle these whole things. In fact, sometimes it's called a pickle tree. The fruit itself is well, you can see why it's called a pickle tree. I think that this has great potential for value-added products as well as in restaurants. Okay, I'm gonna juice. Whoa! Let's see. That was interesting. Well, after wiping Bilimbi juice off of my face, table, tools, we decided to change from this to this with a cap on it. And although you can't see it as well inside, although you will see it fill up pretty quickly, some fruit are affected differently than others at this speed. So it's the same with lilikoi and Suriname cherry. They can spurt out. Denser fruit won't have the same habit. So anyway, let's see what happens when we put some more in. Okay, this is more than enough juice for a batch of salad dressing, which Bilimbi vinaigrette can be quite pleasant. Another thing that I like to do with them is that I cut them vertically and dry them. And when you dry them and you cook them down into, let's say, a Rangpur lime sauce, Kona lime, or you cook them into an acidic juice with a lot of spices in it, it takes up the dried fruit, rehydrates, and it takes up the flavor of the spices. So we make a lot of achar and Indian pickles with that. And in fact, we sell them to a chain of Indian restaurants in San Francisco. So there's lots of possibilities. Okay, another thing is that once you've juiced some fruit, in the case of Bilimbi, you wouldn't necessarily juice this again, but it's still, you can see it's still pretty moist. So we could actually run a lot of this back through and get even more out of it. This is especially true of guava, where you want to get as much as possible. And also with lilikoi. So we'll see if we get much more. Yeah, just a little bit. You tilt the machine and even get some more dripping in there. So we started with 1,000 ml or 4 cups of fruit, and we wound up with 400 milliliters of juice. And we're gonna do the next most important thing, which I confess I sometimes forget, lots of people I know I forget, is to mark what it is before it goes into the freezer to be used. So we're going to put Bilimbi juice, 400 milliliters, and today's date, whatever that might be. I'm going to do it like this. And one thing when you're try to get as much air out of the bags as you can, some people, and it's probably a good idea, use 2 bags when they freeze juice. But what we're going to do is we lay them flat on a sheet tray so that it's easier to use and to thaw when needed later. Rain pour cone of lime.